Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about adaptive cards. If you are not familiar with that topic, it's basically a component that you can send to Microsoft Teams, Outlook, Viva Connections and a chatbot, for example. Reusing the same code, you are able to send this component, and this component is rendered in different systems. Okay, let's get started and I'll show you how you can create an adaptive card and how you can add a people picker, which is a new addition provided by Microsoft in the last months. Okay, let's get started. I am on adaptivecards.io. This is the best website that you can find to create new adaptive cards. It helps you to build and develop new adaptive cards. I will add the URL in the description of this video. Here, as you can see, there is a GIF image that shows you how it works, the adaptive card. We are seeing now one single adaptive card rendering and loading on several platforms and several systems. Now, I want to create a simple adaptive card and I want to add in this adaptive card a people picker. It's very easy to do it. All you need to do is just go on the menu and here you will find Designer. This is the best place where you can start to build your adaptive card. As you can see here, we have an example, and on top you have to decide where this adaptive card will be rendered. We have several options. We have Bot Framework Web Chat, Outlook Actionable Messages, Microsoft Teams, Viva Connections, Cortana, Cortana Skills, Federated Search, and so on. Let's say that I want to reproduce this adaptive card in Microsoft Teams. This is the sample, and here is where you can add more components. You can drag and drop a text block, for example. Let me do it. And here we have now this text block. You can add a media, an image, a button. All you need to do is just go over the component and drag it on the form that you can see here. Now, when you do all these actions, automatically the designer will create for you a JSON just below. And when you want to reuse this adaptive card, you have to just copy this payload and then put it in a Power Automate flow, for example. Now, let me show you how you can reuse an existing JSON payload that you find in some documentation, for example. Luckily, I already have a tab open here. This is the documentation that tells you how to create a people picker in the adaptive cards. If you scroll down, you can find the section Implement People Picker, and this is exactly what I want to do for my adaptive card. This is the sample, and all I need to do is just copy this JSON, go back to the designer, click in this area, select everything, and then paste this JSON. And here I have in real time the preview. Now let's see this JSON. What I have here is an input choice set. And here as a type, very important, I have data.query, and finally as dataset I have the endpoint to the Microsoft Graph API. This is very important. This endpoint will query all users in the Microsoft 365 tenant. Then there is the ID which identifies this component, and then there is another attribute that say if this component is multi-select or not. It's true, then I will be able to create and add more users. And finally, I have a simple action submit. It's a button. Now that I have my adaptive card ready to go, I can reuse this JSON payload in a Power Automate flow, for example. Let's copy again this JSON payload, and then I'm going on this tab, which is the office.com website. Here I'm going to click on the waffle menu, and then I'm going to open Power Automate. You can directly type powerautomate.com if you want to jump directly on this website. Now that I am here, I can start to click on my flows, and then here I can click on new flow. I can do it directly by clicking on this other menu item if I want. Now let me select Instant Cloud Flow because I want to trigger manually this flow. Let me type a name inside the text field, adaptive card. Then I'm going to select manually trigger a flow and then create. Now that I have this flow ready to go, I can click on New Step. And then here I'm going to type Teams because I need to use the Teams connector. And then finally here I can type, for example, post adaptive card in a chat or channel. I'm going to use this action. Then finally here I can post as Flowbot as a user or Power Virtual Agent. I'm going to select Flowbot. And then I have to target where I want to make this post. In a channel or in a chat or in a group chat. I'm going to target channel and this will display additional fields. Now if I click on this drop down, I can select in which channel I want to make this post. This would be the IT, and if I click on the drop down, I can select the channel, and this is general. And finally, I have to paste the code that I copied before, and this is my JSON. Now, I am ready to save this flow, and then directly I can test it immediately by going in the upper right corner, clicking on test, then manually I have to grant the permission to use this connector and then run flow. Here we go, done. Now I can jump back on Microsoft Teams. I have an instance of the desktop version of Microsoft Teams here available. I am here in the IT team in the general channel, and here we go. I have my adaptive card here already displayed. Now in this text field, theoretically I can search users. I can type, for example, Adele, and here we go. Adele Vance shows up. I can add additional users, for example. I have Diego Siciliani here, and so on. I can go forward. Here I have the button to submit my adaptive card, and this will send also the ID of every user that I have selected in this people picker. And then I can trigger my process. Now let's say that I want to prepopulate this component with existing users. It's very important to remember the ID of every user that you want to pre-select in this people picker. How I can retrieve my ID? So the best way to do it is going in the office.com, and then in your profile picture in the upper right corner, you can click on My Office Profile. This will open another tab in the browser, and now all we need to do is just go on the URL and copy this parameter that you can see here. We have U equal, and then you can copy this GUID, and now I can use it for my adaptive card. Another way that you have is opening the portal.azure.com behind your Microsoft 365 subscription. Let me click on Azure Active Directory and let me click on users. Here I can search for Giuliano. This is my user, and if I click on this user, I can see the object ID. So if you copy this, then you can use it in your adaptive card. These are two ways that you have. Of course, to get access in the portal.azure.com, you need the right permission. But if you don't have it, don't worry, because you can always jump on your profile going on office.com, and then on your profile picture and My Office Profile, you will land on this tab, and here in the URL you will find this useful GUID. Now let's go back in the documentation, and scrolling a little bit down, we can find a section to prepopulate this component with existing user. This is the JSON payload that you have to copy. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going on my flow. I'm going to click on edit, and here I can remove everything. I paste my new JSON payload, and here there is this value, And here I have to add the GUID of the user that I copied before. Here we go. And now I can save. Theoretically, if I send now this adaptive card, I should see in the people picker already pre-filled my name with my user. Let's see if it works. Let me click on test, manually test, run flow, done. Now I can go and open Microsoft Teams, and here we go. I have a second adaptive card, and already I can find me. So my user is already added in this people picker. This is another way that you have to deal and work with the people picker in an adaptive card. The last use case is having static choices. So scrolling here in this example, in this JSON payload, we can find here that under choices, we can find custom values. We have this one, custom profile 1, custom profile 2, and this is how it works. So if the user search inside, then the result will appear accordingly. But let's try it. So let me copy this, exactly this one. Let me go on my flow, edit. I'm going to replace this one. Then I'm going to save. Then test again. Test and finally run flow. Here we go. Completed this other one successfully. Let me go back on Microsoft Teams. And now I have a third adaptive card. Now, if I search for custom, here we go. I have custom profile 1 and custom profile 2. This is very helpful because it doesn't return only people. It can return also custom data that you want to display to the end users. Okay, we have seen in this short video what is an adaptive card, how you can use it, and we have seen how to add a people picker to it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to subscribe, comment, like, and stay tuned. I hope to see you next time. Bye.